Welcome back to Phillips Hot Rod Garage. All right guys, I've been promising to make this video for quite a while. I've had several guys lately to ask about this old 37 pickup, had some requests to make a video, and I've had a lot of questions been asked on this thing lately. So I thought I'd take the time this week, since I'm at a little bit of a stopping point on the Model A project. Figured I'd take the time to drag this old thing out of the corner. It's been over there collecting dust in the corner for a couple of years, and I thought I'd just get it out in the open, make you guys a video on this thing and show you what's going on with this truck. I think it's really cool. I honestly forgot how good this thing looked till I got it out here where I could kind of back off and look at it. It's a really, really cool project. So I've come in here in the shop this week and I've cleaned up a bunch of stuff and I've rearranged. I'm gonna show you what I did, and got this thing out in the open where I can let you guys check it out. So don't go anywhere. We're going to check this thing out. All right, so first things first, I really don't know anything about the history of this truck. I bought it just like it sits, except for that engine. I put that in there, and I put the wheels and tires on the back. The front ones came with the truck. All right, so I also had to buy this windshield frame. This thing right here was left laying on the ground. Not this one, but the one that came with the truck. It was left laying on the ground, and it just about rusted away. But the rest of the truck does not have any rust in it at all. It's got rust all over it, but there's no holes in it. So let me give you some up close shots of some things. All right, so the cab is a 37. The patch panels have already been done. Somebody who had it in the past welded in new pieces down here. Looks like the work they did was pretty good. It also has new rockers in it. There's a little bit of rust left in the doors, but it looks like the doors is the only rust left in the truck. The roof's real nice. The back of the cab's real nice. Everything except they cut the back of the cab out right here. And it looks like there's some screw holes across there where they had the panel screwed back on, but I did not get the panel with the truck. I don't know what happened to it. It's okay, I'll just make a new one with the bead roller. It looks like they cut that out when they were channeling the truck. And as you can see, the truck is channeled pretty hard. The body is sitting level with the bottom of the frame. So it's at least been channeled the width of the frame, plus ever how much of a spacer was between the frame and the body. So I don't know exactly how much that would be, maybe 6 inches or so. It's channeled pretty hard. And they cut the firewall out. I was playing a while back with this cardboard trying to figure a firewall out. I'll just move that out of the way. So as you can see, they cut that out. I have no idea what kind of engine they were planning on using, but they did have a steering box under the cowl, and they had the pitman arm was coming out the side here, and they were doing cowl steering in it, which cowl steering has a lot of bump steer, so nobody really likes cowl steering that much. It does look cool, but it just doesn't drive that good. So we're doing away with the cowl steering, that's for sure. There's the gearbox that they had mounted under the dash. So that's pretty much it on the body. I mean, it is what it is on this thing. The body's actually pretty decent. Inside the doors look good. Not a lot of rust in the bottom. They are in pretty solid condition. I am missing the glove box. I'm looking for one of those, and I'm missing the covers that go up here at the top. I need some of those. So if any of you guys following my channel ever see those anywhere, let me know. I need a set of those without having to break the bank to get them. And as you can see in here, there is no floor. It looks like when they channeled it, they cut the floor out and they just never got around to finishing that part. This truck, just like everything else I own, is a unfinished project. something that somebody started and never finished. They put a Super Bell dropped axle under the front, but they've got the spindles on backwards. The steering arms are supposed to be going out the back, not out the front. So that's all got to be changed. It's all just kind of mocked up on there anyway. It looks like a Speedway aftermarket front spring, but as you can see, it's been sitting for quite a while. It's already gotten rusty. They moved the front cross member from here. The axle was originally supposed to go right through here. They moved it forward and raised it quite a bit to get the front of the truck down and to get it as low as it sits. And then they cut the bottom of the grill shell off down here. So I don't know how I'll end up working all that out. The frame is a 1940. I ran the numbers on it. They are still legible. The numbers on the frame are right here. You can still read them. I ran those. It is a 40 model frame. I don't know if it was a truck or a car, but I think they're about the same. Don't think that much matters. And they modified it pretty heavy right here. They cut it and kicked the back of the frame up. And that's got the frame up high enough in the back that it was able to get the truck down real low. Of course, they put a different cross member in it. Yeah, that got the back end down pretty low. And it looks like it's got a new spring in it. That looks like it's going to be brand new. And they modified these rear radius rods, put a tie rod end in these and mounted them to the side of the frame. And that really doesn't work very good. That creates a lot of binding in the rear, so I will most likely be changing that setup. That's really not going to work out too well. I've seen some other guys do that. I've even seen some guys on YouTube do that. I saw one of the more popular YouTube channels do this, and everybody in the comments was trying to tell them, that's not going to work. It's not going to work. Everybody on the ham says that does not work. It creates so much binding back here that the radius rod will end up breaking where it goes and bolts up to the rear end housing. So it's just not a good way of doing it. So I will be making some rear suspension changes. That will be coming when I start on this project. The rear end is a 41 model. It's still got a closed drive setup. It's got a 378 gear. It's a pretty good rear end, but I do have to convert that to an open drive. You can see how high the pinion on the rear end sits, and then you can imagine how low the transmission is. There's no way that that's going to work with a torque tube drive, so that'll definitely have to be converted to an open drive. And speaking of the transmission, I put a modern driveline adapter onto a forward wide block bell housing and put a T5 in here with a, it's actually a Mustang transmission with a S10 tail shaft on it. But I don't know if that's going to stay or if that's going to go. The engine's a 1955 forward wide block. It has 3 56 Ford ECG6 carburetors on it with an Edelbrock 573 intake manifold. Got a set of early Thunderbird valve covers on it. The engine's probably going to go. I did put it in here, but it's not working out too good. I don't like some things about it, so probably going to end up doing away with that. The main problem that I have is this front mount. This is a Hurst or a Hurst style mount. Hurst made these back, I guess, in the 50s and 60s to put the Ford Thunderbird Y blocks into the early Fords. And the problem with this is, as you can see, I can't get a water hose onto the water pump because the Thunderbird carried a spacer between the water pump and the timing cover that the truck and the regular car engines don't have. And that is a very expensive endeavor to put the Thunderbird front accessories on the engine. You have to have a special T-Bird harmonic balancer. So the harmonic balancer, water pump pulley, and the spacer is required to make that work out, which requires special generator brackets to make that work. Of course, I could fab those, but yeah, that's not working too good. And also, when you look at the pedals, the brake pedal here is hitting the mount on the bell housing where the hydraulic slave cylinder would bolt up. So that means I've got to come in here and put swinging pedals in, and I really like the original style pedals, so that's not working out too good. So I decided to go with a different engine setup in this thing. I think it'll be a lot easier if I change that to something else. So I'm going to talk more about that in just a minute. I didn't mention that right here, they drilled the front wishbones, actually separated the wishbone, did the split wishbone setup, drilled them, and they never have made the mounts for this yet. But that still has to be done. And I think from looking at this thing, you can tell that it looks like somebody had sandblasted this thing before and primed it, and they just left it sitting out and it ended up rusting through again. So all that's got to be sandblasted again to get it looking good. And hey, there's Jared. Coming to help me?
Maybe.
All right. All right, guys, so Jared just left. I asked him to stop by and help me load these two bodies up. 2829 two-door sedan and the 32 Chevrolet coupe. Both of these cars are going to the swap meet. Of course, y'all have seen the coupe quite a bit, and the 2829 two-door sedan, y'all saw the video when I went and bought that one. So these are going to the swap meet in 2 weeks, and today was the only day that I had available between now and the swap meet to get these loaded up when I had some daylight. Time changes tonight, so it's gonna be dark every day when I get home from work. So hopefully I can go to the swap meet in 2 weeks and come back with an empty trailer. That's what I'm hoping for. And I think I just have too many cars sitting around, but we can talk about that later. But I need to do something with the wheels on this trailer. Those things look terrible. I need to do something. I bought this trailer just like that, and it's got new tires, but those wheels look terrible. Anyway, let's get back to talking about the 37 pickup. All right, so let's talk about the bed on this thing for a minute. I guess I'm just gonna have to make one. I think it should be pretty simple to make. Just some flat sheet, bend up the sides, put a round tube on the top of it that kind of matches up to this body line. That'll come on back to maybe like right in here somewhere. The bed floor is gonna be kicked up pretty high to cover this area here. There's going to be some room under the front of the bed floor for maybe the fuel tank to go under there. There's going to be some room there. So I don't think it'll be too bad to make a bed. I've seen several guys online make them, and they look pretty simple to make. So that's the plan for the bed. I do have the rear window garnish molding. I have that. I have the hood for it. Have that also. I have the top and the sides, and so pretty much every piece of the truck that I need to build a hot rod is here. So I want to talk to you a second about the engine. Here's the plan for that. Now, as much as I like this Y block, I just got to thinking about it, and I think it's just too new for the truck. The way the truck is set up now, there's nothing on this truck that's anywhere near as new as that engine. That engine's a 55. And other than that engine, as far as I know, the newest piece on this truck is 41. So I'm thinking that this truck needs a flathead. So with a 41 rear end and a 40 frame and 40 wheels, I don't know, the rears might be a little bit newer than 40, but the fronts are definitely 40s. And a 37 cab. And it's got the 40 style dropped axle. I could take an original 40 axle, I've got one. I could have it dropped and do the same thing, so that really doesn't matter. That's really the only aftermarket piece on there, except for new springs. So that puts this truck kind of dated at a 40s style hot rod. So this thing, I think it's begging me for that 1940 flathead. This one right here. Y'all remember I had a few videos a while back when I was checking this thing out? This is the way to go. 40 flathead. Now I just picked up some pieces for it recently. I picked up a 6-blade fan. I got this distributor a while back. It needs some work, but I can get it going. I got some new parts for the starter. Y'all saw the video where I got that going a while back. But I picked up some new springs to go into the brushes. And I got a new Bendix for it here in the box here. and also got a gasket set for it. So I think this Flathead is just dying to go in that truck. So that's pretty much the plan for this thing. I think the Flathead sitting in there with 2 carburetors on it ought to do the trick. Well guys, I guess that's all I can say about this old truck. I think with putting that Flathead back in here, I can find a stock firewall to go in this thing and put the stock firewall back in it. The Flathead will fit right in with that stock firewall. This is a 40 chassis, that's a 40 engine, so everything will just hook right up. I won't have to modify my pedals, all that'll hook right up. I can still use the T5 transmission and put it behind the Flathead if I want to overdrive and have a modern transmission so it'll be a little bit better to drive, or I can put an early 3-speed in it and it'll just bolt right in. So I think that'll make life a whole lot easier for me, and I can get this truck going a lot faster. So anyway, this is not what I'm going to be working on anytime soon. I just want to take the time and show it to you guys. I've got so much going on that I haven't been able to work on the Model A much lately. So I just want to keep some videos coming out and show you guys some things that I got that I really don't have much time to talk about from week to week. So hope you guys enjoyed the little overview on this truck. It's going to be a fun project. I really like this thing. I think it is super cool. And I think with that Flathead, it's going to be more period correct than this. And I think it's just going to be the right way to go. The Flathead with 2 carbs on it, that's just going to be the money shot right there. I mean, it is going to look super good with that setup, and it'll be a neat cruiser to cruise around town on. So on the on what's going on the channel, I got a lot going on. So swap meet coming up next weekend. This weekend's actually the car show down at Panama City. Next weekend, I'll be in spaces L38, L138 up at the Moultrie, Georgia swap meet. I have those 2 cars out there for sale. I'll be there. If you're going to be at the Moultrie, Georgia swap meet, check me out. I'll be hanging around my space quite a bit. Sometimes I'll be out shopping around, but you can't miss me. You'll see those 2 cars out there for sale. And I got some other big changes coming on the channel, so I will have some good videos coming up soon. I just got to get this busy time behind me, and then we're going to have some really cool stuff coming up. Really big changes coming to the channel. I've actually added another pony to the stable, so to speak. I got a space cleaned out right here. I got another one coming in. It's going to be a neat project. I'll share that with you guys probably next week. And I'm selling some of the other ones and adding some different ones, and so that's going to be really cool. But we're not giving up on the Model A. We're going to keep going on it. That is the main project for the channel. And so yeah, big changes. Got some new equipment for the shop coming. That's going to be big. I mean, that is really going to be big. So and it's actually big equipment, big piece of equipment. So I'm excited about that. So big changes coming to the channel. Thanks for all of you watching. I really do appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next one.